Hello, everyone. This is Peter Granich on a somewhat sad day for me and many, many others who've been involved in standardbred horse racing here in New Jersey. We learned today that Freehold Raceway, a racetrack that I first started going to at age 17 from the Bronx, which was like a kid now going to Disney World just to travel from the Bronx here to the countryside of New Jersey at the time, and have owned horses, raced there, have had can't even count how many events I've held there and attended so much, is closing. And its last race day will be, I think they said December 28th. And it will be a shock to many. But for me, it became a way of life. It has been one of my more enjoyable pastimes, both as an owner and a race fan. I've had tremendous events held there, and now we'll be sharing to those who are planning on the events that I hope to have this fall that I am canceling them. And I am canceling them because it would be like being on death row for me uh, to hold those events now, knowing in a matter of weeks the track will no longer be there. It's been that much of my uh, adult life. And also, I'm somewhat concerned about the conditions of the dining room and what may be being served and all with just a few weeks to go. My last event was going to be less than 2 weeks before it'd be officially closed. So uh, please note, if you were planning on attending that, I'll be reaching out to our celebrity guests to tell them that the event is canceled. And it's a indication of a terminally ill industry that for decades absolutely neglected marketing. And you can make up all the excuses of how gambling and casinos and everything and sports betting has taken away the interest. Just look at some of the thoroughbred racetracks. Gulfstream handles $1 million a race. And there are a lot of other thoroughbreds because harness racing was always the dark side of racing, always, and had a lot of race fixing at one time. I don't think anywhere near as much goes on at this time simply because there's not enough bet there to them to make large scale dollars fixing races. But you are going to see there isn't a harness racetrack that I know of in the United States that's self-supporting, even the Meadowlands, meaning that they could not live off the handle, that they would take their percentage. And I think just like the Greyhounds in Florida, when it was decided that no longer do those places have to race the Greyhounds in order to keep the casinos, Greyhounds closed automatically. Same thing with Pompano, the harness track down there. And I believe the moment states like Pennsylvania and New York decide that, Yonkers Raceway and Chester's Harris would be closed in 60 seconds for racing. And it's just a very, very hard day. Racing's been in my blood. It's one of the areas that my father and I had peace as an early childhood. And ironically, he's buried right overlooking Freehold Raceway because it was the one racetrack within 300 miles of New York City that he never actually made it to because they were day racing and they were racing. If they were racing at Aqueduct of Belmont, he was more of a thoroughbred person. And the few weeks that they went to Saratoga, he would travel to the Jersey Shore, but to go to Monmouth Park. And Monmouth Park is being revitalized and looks like it's going to be here. And I love thoroughbred racing, but there's always been something special. And of course, Freehold is literally almost out my door from my house. So very sad. Please note, if you were obviously going to be attending the the events, they've been canceled. And I've had some really good friends. Karen Faglione, the race secretary, Mike Faglione, the track superintendent, former driver, uh, Jimmy Marone Jr. I think if he ever got to drive in the same races that some of the top tier drivers got in, he'd be right there with him. an honest driver in a dishonest business. And of course, perhaps the single most important thing that ever happened was meeting Irish Joe Haney and the story of Rose Troy, which I am going to put up here in this post. You'll never see two people who were more happy to see a horse run third. I actually videotaped it. Who keeps videos of your horse running third? I did, because it was a horse that the original trainer said wouldn't even make it to the races. This young kid, Irish Joe Haney, takes it over for me. Not only gets it to run third, but then gets me a good friend of his as a trainer in Saratoga to take it on a deal so I wouldn't have to put up any further money. And it ends up winning 9 races. The races that I can still turn on YouTube, and my wife will hear it in the kitchen and come in and watch it. And of course, my favorite win at Freehold was Nick Fatiu. Not the 2-legged one, the 4-legged one. And I'm putting that video up with this blog post as well, and I'll probably watch it 100 times over the next several months. Anyway, very sad. I'm preparing to go on vacation, but this is certainly a damper. And life goes on. God is good all the time.